You want to speak to at least 3 residential agents if you want to determine the value of your potential development project. My name is Richard Clapson, I'm a chartered structural engineer and I've been in the property industry now for over 40 years. And you need to be discussing with at least 3 residential estate agents the end value of your potential conversion development scheme. Why do I say that? Why at least 3? Well, first of all, let's talk about the market. Let's understand what we're trying to do. So let's perhaps assume we're going to take an existing, maybe office building. We're going to convert an existing office building into maybe 15 residential apartments. Those residential apartments could be a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. Now, you need to determine as part of your exercise in terms of putting an offer in, so part of your analysis of the deal, you need to determine what the value of those apartments are when they're going to be sold. And that is so fundamental. Now, if you go out to one residential estate agent, in fact, if you go to any residential estate agent, and you say to them, hey, what are we looking at here? They might say, yeah, 2 bedroom apartments in this area, about £225,000. And of course, equally, you need to know how fast they're going to sell because that all builds into your cost analysis. How long do you need to borrow the money for? And if you say to them how long they're going to take to sell, they're going to sell like hotcakes. I tell you what, if I had £1 for every time I've heard that, they'll sell like hotcakes. They don't sell like hotcakes. And when you get to the end and you say, I put it up for 225 and it's been up for 2 months, it's not sold. Yeah, probably need to reduce it to about 180, 190. That's probably where the market is and it will take quite a while. Hang on a minute, you said 225 and sells like hotcakes. Yeah, I know, but that's what I thought. And the problem is, and I don't mean this rudely if you're listening as an estate agent, but estate agents quite often are overly optimistic. They're enthusiastic. Now, I don't want to knock that. I don't want to take away their enthusiasm because part of what they've got to do is sell my properties for me. That's when I want an abundance of enthusiasm. That's when I want them to say to a potential seller, you better be quick, there's only 3 of these left and they're selling like hotcakes. I get it. But what I need is a dose of realism. I actually need to know where the market is. Does that make sense? So how do we get that? Well, we're going to go around and we're going to talk to at least 3 agents. But that in itself is not good enough. Because if you go and talk to 3 residential estate agents, they're probably all going to say a similar thing. And that doesn't help us at all. So what we need to do is understand the market ourselves. One of the processes that I do with all of my students that I mentor is teach them a process of understanding the market. We call it a market area comparison report. Market area comparison. Now, that teaches you this process. And imagine if you're in a position where you could analyze the market. You could analyze the resale market of your potential 1, 2 bedroom properties within the area that you're developing. And that's a comprehensive analysis, a comprehensive report. And then imagine this. You're going to go to your first estate agent and in your pocket, you're going to have your comprehensive market area comparison report. And of course, you're going to ask the estate agent, I'm looking to build these 2 bedroom flats. How much do you think they'll sell for? And how quick do you think they'll sell? Yeah, 225,000, sell like hotcakes. You're going to get the same answer. But then, imagine this. You pull out your pocket, or out your briefcase, wherever it is. You pull out your market area comparison report. Don't give them a copy. Just show them a copy, okay? I know that's the palm of my hand, but I'm sure you can imagine this report. You show them a report, and you say to them, hey, my evidence says that actually 225 is a bit strong. That's a bit toppy. I'm looking at about 190, maybe 210 absolute tops. And I'm looking at about a 6 to 8 week sales process at that value. Immediately, what's going to happen? That estate agent is now going to change gear. They're going to change position. They're now going to treat you with a lot more respect than where they did before. Now, I don't mean they were disrespectful, but they now know that you're serious and you know what you're talking about. The reality is then, you'll probably then get invited into the room out the back. To start with, you might be at the front desk, but there's always a room out the back, isn't there? There's a room upstairs, out the back, the one behind the glass door. That's where you're going to go and see the manager, or the manager takes you. Say, yeah, come and sit down. Let's go and have a chat through. They know that you're serious. So they can say, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, to be fair, 225 is a bit toppy. We have done some at 225, but generally the ones you are now going to have a dose of realism. And imagine now that process in agent 2 and agent 3. You're now with at least 3 agents. 2's no good. You can't compare 2. 3 you can, because you can find the outlier. You can now, and of course you can circulate back, hey, I've just been over there. They've said this. What do you think? And look for evidence. You think it's going to sell for 190? I think it's going to sell for 190, but can you show me evidence why you think 190? Or why you think 210? Or why you think 225? Or why you think 8 weeks? Or why you think 12 weeks? And you can work these agents and ask these questions. And you can do that. How? Because you've assessed the market. You've got a market area comparison report. You've got an insight and a certain amount of knowledge yourself. And because you're checking with 3 agents, you'll better compare and contrast. So never just talk to 1 agent, and never do that if you've not assessed the market yourself. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that's logical. And hopefully that'll avoid you getting into problems in the future. Please like and subscribe as always, and I'll see you in the next video.